What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me in part 2 of my deep dive review of the Pyxis 12K. In this video, we are going to be jumping into Davinci Resolve and putting footage from the 12K head-to-head with footage from the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K. This is going to be very challenging footage that was shot in very low light environments. And so we'll be looking at high ISO performance between the two cameras, color grading, how far you can push this kind of footage, and how much noise reduction you can get away with without losing too much detail in the shadows. So without further ado, let's check it out. All right, guys, we are looking at clips here from the Blackmagic 6K. This is at 1250 ISO. And this one here at 3200 ISO is the second of the dual base ISOs. This is the high base ISO, 3200. The camera can go up to 25,600 ISO, I believe. But in any case, 3200 is the high base ISO, and hopefully you guys can see this on the YouTube compression, but this is really noisy. Play through this. This is with no noise reduction on and just a basic Blackmagic LUT, in-camera LUT applied, like a Rec 709 LUT. We take a look at the waveform there. It's pretty heavy in the shadows. Now, if we take a look at the 1250 ISO footage, it is much cleaner, much less noise, but you lose a lot of detail in the shadows. And if I were to bring up the exposure here, you know, really going over like 2 stops over, you're going to see a lot of that same pretty ugly red pattern noise that is present in the 3200 ISO clip. If we hop over to the Pyxis 12K footage, this is at the base ISO of 800. Now the 12K only has just one base ISO. It's not a dual base ISO like the 6K is. However, it's honestly not necessary. Just look at how clear this footage is. Now I do have some noise reduction on here, so I'll turn that off so you guys can see it with the original noise. The noise is pretty well managed. Even without denoising on, I think this looks pretty good. It's like a fixed pattern noise. There's more blue and green noise that I can see. I'm not sure if that'll come through with the YouTube compression, but this type of noise is basically, it's like this noise pattern on the Pyxis 12K was made for the denoiser in Davinci Resolve. So I'll just throw on a little bit of temporal noise reduction, 2 frames, faster, motion range medium. We're just at like 4 or 5 right there. And remember, we're only on ISO 800. And you can see just so much cleaner noise and shadow detail. Even a little bit of detail in the distant background comes through that was just not visible at all in the 6K footage. And again, just with a basic Rec 709 transform LUT. This footage is just so ridiculously clean. Here, I'm jumping up to 3200 ISO, which is actually the max ISO on the Pyxis 12K. Now you might think that that is problematic if you need to get into some higher ISOs in very dark situations. For example, like this, to pull out that, you know, a little bit of that shadow detail and maintain those highlights. So here it does get really quite noisy. If I turn this off and play through, we get some kind of ugly blue and green pattern noise, but it's not anywhere near as ugly as the red pattern noise from the 6K. So we'll do a little more aggressive noise reduction, maybe about 10 there or so. And that cleans up that fixed pattern noise quite nicely. I still though prefer the look at 800 ISO. It's much cleaner, the noise is much finer, and the just dynamic range in the shadows, you get much nicer gradations. Like, it's not as illuminated, the background, as in the ISO 3200 footage. It is less illuminated for sure. We do some pixel peeping here. This is less illuminated than the footage at 3200 ISO, but look how much cleaner it is. Like, this is kind of a mess. And you get this really kind of crunchy, harsher gradation to the dark areas, whereas it's so soft and smooth at 800 ISO. So this just blows me away. I've never seen this level of low light performance on really any camera that I've used before at 800 ISO. The only camera that I've really spent a lot of time with, my beloved Sigma FP, has low light shadow performance similar to this, and can actually pull out more details in the Sigma FP footage, but you have to go to 3200 ISO or 1600 ISO. At 800 ISO, the FP, you won't get this much detail and cleanness in the noise in dark environments. So yeah, this is really impressive. Now if we take a look here, yeah, this is pretty stylized. If I take off the LUT, you can see the full range. But yeah, this is pretty ugly. I'm gonna go back to the base ISO of 800, and even if I pull up that black level, get some more detail back in the shadows there. Yeah, that is just gorgeous. I gotta say, it is just shockingly clean. Like, I can turn down a lot of noise reduction. Really impressive footage, really impressive. Okay, and here I want to show you guys, this is a comparison, side-by-side comparison. On the left, we've got the 6K, on the right is the 12K. So at full 100% on the 12K, you do need a sharper lens if you want to retain a lot of detail at that full output. Viewing it in full on a 4K timeline. So cropping in. However, if I scale this footage down to 6K, so effectively I'm scaling it down by half, so it's going from 12K to 6K. So again, that's going to make the noise nice and fine. And you see there, so even using 6K resolution of that 12K, so I can try to help the 6K footage a bit here by scaling that down, but I have less resolution to play with. So the noise on the 6K is quite clean in this situation. It does overall look really solid on both cameras. Now if I try to pump up the exposure here, I actually don't even have a lot applied on this footage. We're working both at 3200 ISO. And similarly, I will pump up the exposure by a stop on the 12K footage. Yeah, so when I do that, it gets really rough noise on the 6K. The 12K, it's ugly noise, but at least it's fixed pattern. So when I go to apply noise reduction, it's just going to clean up so well. But the noise is cleaner, coming up cleaner on the waveform on the 12K. You really have to use quite a bit more noise reduction on the 6K footage to get those waveforms closer in parity. So you guys tell me what you think. I think the image looks quite nice coming out of both of these cameras in this situation at 3200 ISO. Now here, the last clips I want to look at are footage of this tree. Okay, so we've got the 12K footage here, and just the level of detail in the branches is pretty incredible. I can throw in just a touch of noise reduction. Now we're looking at footage from the 6K. So there's just a lot more shadow detail, more gradation within the shadows on the 12K footage. A lot of it gets lost in the 6K. We put these clips side by side. On the left is the 12K, on the right is the 6K. There is still a bit of noise in the shadows on the 12K, but we just see so much more of the tree illuminated, more gradation and just brighter areas in the shadows. That's what the extra 3 to 4 stops of dynamic range is going to get you. It is quite stunning to me. Quite stunning, the quality, the vibrancy, and the amount of detail in this 12K footage. Like, I was not very long ago somebody who thought 12K, the whole concept of it was just completely absurd and absolute nonsense. And now here I am, a true believer. Just that ability to take it and scale it down so the noise becomes so fine and more filmic, and the amount of detail that you can get in the images here is with just a single light. And this shot was at 800 ISO, that base ISO. Here I've got just a bit of manipulation of the gamma controls on the raw tab. I'm not even using a LUT on this clip. This is 8K footage at 72 frames per second in a 24 frames per second timeline. Here I'm using Davinci Wide Gamut and Davinci Intermediate, gamma and color space, instead of the Blackmagic color space, Blackmagic design. And pump up the exposure here. Even with no noise reduction, this clip is surprisingly very clean, and I'm pushing it 1.5 stops over. I'm able to pull a lot of detail back out of the shadows there and just use a little bit of noise reduction. It feels very filmic, nice fine grain kind of look. Yeah, the sensor on this camera, man. I've never really quite gotten images like this in such difficult lighting conditions. Just getting such clean, filmic looking images. Wow. I've said enough.